ChatBack on RCV News.
That's the number that you can send your text messages to in this particular hour. And then in the second hour of the program, we give an opportunity to call in and have a conversation with our guest this morning. Now, this morning we do have an interesting topic. Of course, we are looking at national matters ranging from, of course, the rule of law, meal prices, fuel prices, and other issues that are affecting you, the citizenry. And my guest this morning, I'm privileged to be joined by Socialist Party Deputy Secretary General, Mr. Antonio Mwanza. Good morning and welcome to ChatBack.
Good morning, and it's good to be here. Good morning, Zambia.
Yeah, good to be here after a very long time.
It's been a very, very long time, and I'm happy that you gave the Socialist Party an opportunity to be here, and we hope we are going to have a constructive discussion and that we can raise issues that matter to the Zambian people. And I'm looking forward to a fruitful discussion.
Yeah, let's start with the Socialist Party. We know that politically you are rich. You've been through quite a number of political parties, but maybe you are now with the Socialist Party. How easy is it to sell the agenda of socialism? And I do ask this question because there's been a lot of narrative about socialism. They say, look, socialism wants to take away the private sector. It wants to kill off the private sector. How are you selling this product of the Socialist Party to the Zambians?
Thank you so much. I'm glad that you asked me that question because it's a frequently asked question. I think there's a lot of misconception. There's a lot of wrong narratives about what socialism was all about. The basic definition of socialism, according to the Socialist Party, can be described in 3 words: justice, equity, and peace. That is what the Socialist Party stands for: justice, equity, and peace. Those are the pillars of the Socialist Party. We also believe in integrity, solidarity, fairness, honesty, and our basic principles in terms of the economic agenda for the people of Zambia can be summarized in 5 sectors which are key to us. First of all is food and agriculture, food security and agriculture. Making sure that people have food that is affordable and food that is nutritious, and an agriculture whose productivity is quite high, an agriculture whose productivity is modern, an agriculture that is able to create jobs for the masses. Because the paradox that we have right now is that agriculture employs over 72% of the Zambian masses. It reaches as high as 80% of the people that are employed in Zambia are under agriculture. But if you look at its contribution to the GDP, it's quite minimal. And those are the things that we want to sort out so that we can have food for all. We can have this problem of mealie meal. You know, as a country, we shouldn't be having challenges of mealie meal. We have arable land. We have favorable weather conditions. Our climate is good. We have a youthful population, a population that is made up of the majority youth, people with the brains, with the energy to invest. And yet, we are amongst the poor of the poorest in the world. Number 2 focus under Socialist Party and socialism is the issue of housing, water, and sanitation. We have about 4 million Zambians that have no access to proper housing, clean water, and modern sanitation. Those issues are fundamental. They are matters of life. They are matters of integrity and humanity. You can't talk about humanity if people don't have proper housing. You can't talk about humanity if people don't have access to clean water, people don't have access to sanitation, people don't have access to energy. The majority of our people, they don't have these facilities which are critical to human life. Number 3 is health. For us, health is a critical issue, and when we go into the details, we'll talk about what our view is on health. We believe that access to health must be universal. Each one of us must have access to health. We can't have a situation where only a few people have access to health, and if you go to our clinics, they don't have medicines. A number of times people go to the clinics, they are told, here a prescription paper, endani musakire mankwala. And the people that are being told, endani musakire mankwala, balibe ndalama zogulira mankwala. So for us, access to universal health is number one. And how do we do it? We make sure that in terms of budgeting, the health sector should have not less than 20%. Not less than 20% of the national budget must go to health. So we can build hospitals, we can build clinics, we can equip these hospitals and clinics with modern equipment, with the health practitioners. And also coupled with food, if people have access to proper dieting, you reduce the burden of disease. It's a cycle. So for us, health is critical. The other aspect which is critical to us is education. Now, we know that people have talked about education, free education. Free education has been there. We had it under UNIP. We had a part of it under Patriotic Front. We have it under the UPND government. But this is free education up to secondary school. Okay? And actually, it's free.
Socialist.
This free education, which is currently there, is free education that is limited. Because there's a free education in word. For instance, if you have got a child who goes to a boarding school, you pay 1,000 kwacha minimum for a child who goes to boarding school. Okay. You also have a situation where the cost of education has gone so high. Here in the studio, I've got this small exercise book because that's the only thing I could manage to buy out of a 20 kwacha. You can't buy this book at less than 20 kwacha. Okay. Books, the cost of books has gone up. Nkani ya transport, vana vambiri vaenda na mendo. Because my parents vari bendrama zopasa mwana kwenda ku school. Ise my parents vambiri tienda na mendo kwenda ku manshito. You go ku nshito nduolema, you are demoralized. You go ku nshito on an empty stomach, and that's what is happening even to our kids. Tuja tumajigizi, tuamina magulisa, utwa chizungu tumaleizi tumachani. All those, the prices of food to take a child to school has gone very, very high. And that is a problem because the majority of our people can't afford to provide school uniforms, books, sapato, vakudia, transport, ya kutumana ende school.
So under the Socialist,
as a result,
we're going to cover all that.
As a result, the failure rates have gone too high. The teacher-pupil ratio is crazy. You have a teacher who is teaching over 200 children in one class. How does a teacher concentrate? How does the pupils concentrate? So for us as the Socialist Party, again, not less than 20% of the national budget must go to education. And this education will be universal from grade 1 to university. Free education from grade 1 to university.
I would like you to address some concerns or say some narratives that the layman has in society. The layman says, look, as far as we are concerned, the Socialist Party, their party ideology is one that does not support the private sector. It is one that seeks to control over the total control over state institutions. It is a party ideology that doesn't really support, would say, individual, maybe wealthy people. That's the narrative that's there. And they're saying, look, if the socialists come into power, they're going to take away all those things. Is that narrative true? Is it a misconception? Or that's what's on the ground?
It's totally misconception and the outright lies. And thank you have asked that very important question. To the private sector, even if you look at our manifesto, we believe that the private sector is critical in creating jobs. It is critical in ensuring innovation. It is critical in ensuring competition. What is making Zambia poor is the lack of ownership and control of our own resources. What is our view of the private business? We believe that the Zambian people themselves must be in charge of the business side of the economy. We don't believe in nationalization. We don't believe in government takeover of the business sector. We believe that government must regulate, yes, because government is there to safeguard the interests of the people, especially the vulnerable and the downtrodden. So government must regulate. It's important for government to regulate. It's important for government to intervene so that we make sure we don't have a situation where the private sector or private hands or private interests, capitalist interests, imperialist interests, takes over the running of the resources and also the state of the nation. Let's pick sector by sector because this is critical.
Very quickly.
Let's talk about mining, for instance. What's our view on mining? Our view is that you cannot control what you don't own. Who owns the mines? The people that own the mines are foreigners. Does Zambia have control over what those foreigners do? No, we don't. Zambia is losing an estimated 3.2 billion US dollars every year from the mining sector alone through the following: financial illicit flows, which include transfer pricing, evasion of tax, tax avoidance, and our failure as a nation to have the capacity to properly monitor what is going on in the mining sector and have the means and ways to not only regulate, but also have the means and ways to tax the mines properly and ensure that the mines pay a fair share of taxes. We have given the mines tax holidays. Yesterday I was reading news on the international market. The copper prices are now going at $11,200 per metric ton. How much is Zambia making from that? Nothing. Zero. Because we don't have control over ownership, production, sale, and as well as control over the investment in manufacturing and processing of mining products.
Maybe just there on ownership. I would like to understand what sort of ownership are you talking about? Let's say, for instance, in the mining sector, are you talking about Zambians fully owning these mines?
So for us, we have said no nationalization. So the government is not going to own mines. But the government is going to make it mandatory that if you want to buy any major asset in Zambia, not less than 51% of that asset must be in the hands of the Zambian people. So the Zambians can own this through share buying. You can buy equity, you can buy shares, you can go into joint ventures. But we are not going to allow foreigners to have complete control of all our critical sectors and leave Zambia with nothing. Because what is happening right now is that I picked mining because it accounts for over 70% of our foreign exchange income. But the contribution of mining to the economy of Zambia is less than 15%. To be precise, is 14.3% only. Okay? So tikaenda kumigodi. Mamaini wanatenga ma foreigners. Sujilite ni ma foreigners running. Gold in ma foreigners, cobalt in ma foreigners, copper in ma foreigners. Everything is being taken away. Go to Rwanda where kulima mine, kulibe ma road, kulibe mans, kulibe ma school, kulibe virivons. But meanwhile, these are the places that are producing all those minerals. So for us, number one, these are the following things we want to do. Ownership, that the majority ownership must go to the Zambian people, independent Zambian people, and not government.
Yes, I've had this conversation also with experts that have come on this platform, mining experts, and they said, look, this conversation about Zambians owning maybe, let's say, a larger percent in these mines, it's easier said than done, because the actual truth is that there's a challenge of capacity. And what's the major challenge of capacity? It's our finances. Yes, we're not saying that Zambians cannot, but look, let's look at the bigger picture and the real picture. This is what experts are telling me. They're telling me that Zambians can run these mines, but they don't have the capacity, financial capacity. Where do you think those conversations
Yeah,
really stand?
I'm happy you asked that, because those are the closed up thinking that a lot of us have been made to believe in, which is a total lie. The truth of the matter is, who owns KCM today? It's Vedanta. Does Vedanta have money? They don't. They have a $12 billion debt. Vedanta is failing to pay workers. Vedanta is failing to invest in KCM. Vedanta right now is looking for money. I'll give you another example, Mopani. Who owns Mopani? It's the foreigners. Do they have the money? They don't have the money. I'll give you another example. Which mine or any mining investor who has come to Zambia and invested their own hard-earned cash, let's say 1.2 billion or 5 billion US dollars of their money? None. So what is happening in the mining sector is that these investors rely on money that they get through loans, through financing. And what do they use as collateral is the mining license that they're given by the Republic of Zambia. So this now brings me to the other part that I wanted to also talk about, is that licensing of mining should first give priority to the Zambian miners. Our own people must be given the mining licenses. It is the mining licenses that people use to go to the bank and get those loans. Vedanta right now is going across the globe looking for loans to invest in KCM. And all they're using as a collateral is the mining license that the Zambian government has given them. So it is a lie that a lot of people that are paid up, a lot of people, remember that these mining conglomerates have got experts in tax mining, they've got experts in mining, in PR, they've got experts in legal issues. They spend millions of US dollars hiring these people who come to radios, TVs, and push these narratives, which are total bullock. It's total unacceptable. Vedanta doesn't bring its own money. They are also looking for money using the banks. So for us, we believe that the money must be given to give the Zambian people the licenses to mine. And they will use those licenses to go and get the loans which the same foreigners are getting. So this brings me to this line, that mining licenses, the first one is going to make sure that, the number one is to make sure that Zambians have access to mining licenses.
Under the Socialist.
Under the Socialist Party. Number two is that Zambians have got access to financing. Number three is that Zambians have got access to technology. Number four is to ensure that Zambians have got access to the market. And number five is to make sure that Zambians are also given tax incentives. Why have we given tax holidays to the mining firms for foreign companies, but we don't give tax incentives to Radio Christian Voice? We don't give tax incentives to any private-owned company which is owned by the Zambian people. That's where the mismatch is. So why I was talking about mining, to break it down, is that there's the issue of taxation. Give tax incentives to the local Zambian miners. We have artisanal miners, those small-scale miners. We have Bajerabo. President Hakainde Sami Hichilema, when he was campaigning, vaisa senda Bajerabo, vapatola kunganda kulia kunganda kumia kushantumbu ku community house. Vavevere ba Jerabo that ngatwa wina tukamipera ma license so that mkwate ko lubali muye ku mabanki mukasende kwa maloni, muye ku mabanki mukasende kwa maloni mshiteko ama mining equipment so that you can improve on your mining. If you are bebere. He also promised them that bakala bapera ma tax incentives. If you never pera ama tax holidays ama foreigners, that navena bakala bapera to ma tax incentives. If you go to the cadastre department today, by Angel, just go there as Radio Christian Voice, just go there and ask the good men and women who work there to say, for instance, in the gemstone sector, the precious minerals, how many licenses have you given? They'll tell you less than 10. Of the less than 10, how many have been given to Zambian-owned companies? They'll tell you less than 2. We have given our critical mineral resources to foreigners. Vale imba, vale shtisha, and we expect that they will develop this country. They can't.
Yeah.
There's I'll give you another.
This is also now, would say, legacy issue, because this hasn't only happened this is not only happening in the New Dawn government, but it's also in past governments, because even in past governments,
it's capitalism.
We never really heard of.
It's capitalism.
Majority Zambians owning these mines.
Yeah, because capitalism doesn't allow you to have control of your resources. The capitalist regimes of the capitalist regime of the United States and the UK will never allow Africa and Africans to have control of over their own mineral resource, over their own forest resource, over their own agro resource. They'll never allow you. So they'll come up with these narratives, and they train these people, eloquent, very well trained tax experts, media experts. They'll come with these narratives and tell you these stories. Remember, they were telling us that as a country, for instance, we don't have the capacity to build a road. We don't have money. We don't have financing to build roads. We have the dual carriageway. Who is financing it? Zambians, through NAPSA. Zambians, through the...
So you think that was a good move?
No, we'll come to that, and I really want us to talk about it. So Zambians are financing it, but who is getting the money? The foreigners. So NAPSA and Workers' Compensation Fund Board, they have given $600 million to a foreign firm to construct a road. And that foreign firm will be collecting the road tolls, mato fees, for the next 23 years. Imagine, mwamanga nyumba, me, I have 100,000 kwacha nifuno manga nyumba, and I go to your company, you're a foreign company, mumamanga manyumba, nami peda 100,000 kwacha, munkule inganda. Mwakula inganda, yandi, then at rent, then you say rent mukala senda nimweo for the next 25 years. Does that make sense? It doesn't. Our position as Socialist Party would have been that if this is where we call PPP, we believe in private partnerships, we believe in PPP projects, but for us, we would have done it differently. If the Ndola dual carriageway, for instance, was to be done using our people's taxpayers' money, we would have first of all selected Zambian companies who do roads to do that project. If they don't have the capacity, that is where government comes in to help. If you don't have capacity, that's how you partner up with other foreign ventures that have got the capacity in terms of technology, in terms of expertise.
Maybe they did that.
No, I'm a capitalist. They believe in profits. They don't believe in caring for people. They believe in profits. As long as bapanga ndrama bazungu batenga ndrama baenda kwa mana. So for us, for instance, is that we would have allowed the Zambian people to have a stake in that Ndola dual carriageway. That's number one.
Yeah. Okay. The time is 9:54. We'll have to break off for the news at 10. But before that, I know I'll have to cut you short on this particular thought. We'll come to it in the second hour of the program. But very quickly, maybe two quick questions. I've also been tracking your performance, Socialist Party, in some of the ward by-elections that we've had across the country, and I've seen that you are yet to win any ward by-election. And maybe this is where that question of how are you finding it to sell this agenda of, socialism to the Zambians. Then also, we've been seeing that in Africa, alliances are the thing. I know maybe you have answered this question, but for the sake of our listeners on Radio Christian Voice, the big question is, going forward, is a socialist thinking of forming any alliance? And I'll put one alliance that everyone knows of. And people have been asking, when is the Socialists joining hands with the United Kwacha Alliance, UKA, so that they... But
you are members, so you know this, yeah.
Yeah, so
no, but these are loaded questions, and it will not be just. It will not do justice if we do them within 5 minutes.
Maybe what by elections?
Yeah, it's very loaded, the issue of by-elections. Can we do it after the news so that I just conclude on the issue of mining? because I was on mining.
No, because even in the second hour.
Okay, that's okay. So by-elections.
Yes.
The truth of the matter is that we have been performing very well as Socialist Party under the circumstances. Remember that out of all the by-elections that we've been having, Socialist Party has been coming out second to the ruling party. These by-elections have been marred with the electoral violence, electoral fraud. We had 9 by-elections recently. We had our candidates abducted. In Kabompo, our candidate was abducted by the UPND. In Gwembe, 2 of our candidates were abducted by the UPND.
These matters reported to the police?
These matters were reported to the police. These matters were reported to the Electoral Commission of Zambia. The response from the police has been nothing, no response, negative. The police, despite giving them the evidence, despite giving them all the facts, the police have taken a line where as long as a complaint is coming from the opposition, the police will never act on it. We are happy that the Electoral Commission of Zambia, looking at the severity of the violence, the abductions, and all these malpractices that are going on, when we asked for a meeting, they did allow us to have a meeting. Our call is that the Electoral Commission of Zambia must enforce the Electoral Code of Conduct. It is law. It is in the Electoral Process Act. And the Electoral Commission of Zambia has the mandate to report to the Zambia police of all violent activities and violent incidences. It is their mandate by law to report as ECZ to the Electoral Commission, to the Zambia police. It is their mandate by law to report to the Drug Enforcement Commission and the Anti-Corruption Commission on matters of corruption. We have seen that every by-election, cabinet ministers wakuka kwenda kunga kawadi. When we were in Mufulira, we had 5 cabinet ministers wakunga kawadi. All of them stop working. They go there. By district commissioners, government vehicles, government resources being abused by the UPND to win a by-election. It is easy to win a by-election because they go there using government resources. They go there, all of them camping. But in 2026, they will not be going there to camp, all of them. It will be a different ballgame. So these by-elections are not a true reflection of the people's will because of the malpractice that has been going on in terms of violence, abductions, in terms of abuse of state resources, abuse of
abductions,
of money.
You reported them to the police.
We have you see in Luangwa, a young girl, 22-year-old, was abducted by UPND. In Gwembe,
they actually defended themselves. They said, look, if that's the case, then let her prove it.
We reported the matter to the police. The police have not done anything. We expected the police to arrest people, and we expected that by now, those people that have been named would have been facing charges. But none. And our position as Socialist Party is that if this violence, and we have communicated this to the Electoral Commission of Zambia when we met them, we told them, if the Electoral Commission of Zambia continues with this complicity and complacency of not enforcing the Electoral Code of Conduct, because they have got the mandate even to cancel elections. They have got the mandate even to bar individuals who are engaged in electoral malpractice. They are not doing that. So our position is that if ECZ will not curb the excesses of UPND, the abuse of state resources, the abuse of government facilities, the violence that is going on, including the abductions that are going on, if ECZ doesn't do that, then there will be a serious problem in 2026 in having free, fair, and credible elections. Because you can't have free, fair, and credible elections when one group is using violence, one group is using state resources, one group is using intimidation, one group is using abuse of the state machinery to win the elections. The Electoral Commission of Zambia have the necessary mandate under the law to make sure that all of us comply.
Okay. All right. Mr. Mwanza, the time is almost 10. Let's break off for the news. In case you are just tuning in, you are listening to Wednesday's edition of ChatBack right here on Radio Christian Voice. We do have the Socialist Party Deputy Secretary General, Mr. Antonio Mwanza. He's with us in studio to look at national matters. So for your contributions, the number is 0956-200-490. And then also on Facebook, you can come through with your contribution on RCV News. RCV News is a platform where we do post everything current affairs, so come through and let's get interactive. Up next is the news, then join us just after the news. Good morning.
ChatBack on RCV News.
The time in Central Africa is 10:09, and welcome to the second hour of today's edition of ChatBack right here on Radio Christian Voice. My name is Angel Kasabo, and this morning we are looking at national matters. My guest is Socialist Party Deputy Secretary General, Mr. Antonio Mwanza. He's with us in studio to help us look at this particular topic that we have today. And a reminder that this conversation is live on RCV News. RCV News is a platform where we do post everything current affairs on Facebook. So come through and let's get interactive. Then the number is 0956 200 490. 0956 200 490. That's the number that you are sending your text messages on. We'll open the phone lines a little bit later. And then you can also send your voice note to that number for your contribution. All right, let's get back to the conversation. I was just, trying to bring you in with regards to your thoughts really on the by-elections, and you've talked about the challenges that you've faced as a socialist. But also there's been response from the UPND saying all these allegations that the opposition are actually are making towards us. Why haven't they proved? Why haven't they taken evidence so that the police, because you've talked about violence, so that the police, and if it's the Electoral Commission of Zambia, act on these particular incidences? Why have you been taking some sort of proof to say, look, there was violence, this is what happened, punish them?
Yeah. So technology is good because technology is helping all of us. Today we have videos of our people being abducted. We have videos of our people being hacked, and these pieces of evidence, we have always presented the evidence to the police. In Gwembe, for instance, one of our drivers was abducted by UPND thugs, and it's on video. And very, very sad. They stripped him off and forced him to wear the UPND regalia and forced him on video to denounce Dr. Freddie Membe and the Socialist Party. And all those video evidence, we have those video evidence. We have presented all these pieces of evidence to the police, and these are in public domain. We post them on social media. Everybody is able to see and access these things. When we were in Mufulira, for instance, we identified three UPND cadres who had been appointed by the Electoral Commission of Zambia to sit in as election agents. And we know this. We live in these same communities. We are all colleagues, and we identified those three colleagues by name and presented the evidence to the Electoral Commission of Zambia that these are UPND cadres. This one, we know UPND. Now my position here, the Electoral Commission of Zambia did not reverse to the decision to remove them. Instead, they told us, we don't have time, so the election has to go on. They didn't deny that those are not UPND cadres. They just said we don't have time. So the issue here is that for us to have free, fair, and credible elections in 2026, there is a need for the Electoral Commission of Zambia to enforce
in the case
electoral.
of the police, is it a matter of you maybe thinking or saying that they're not doing that?
No,
job?
Wakapokola, we have a very serious problem. And I would have said a lot of things, but I'm on a Radio Christian Voice, and I'm trying to tone down and be as sober as I can. But Inspector General of Police, Bamusamba, is not helping matters. Bamusamba has had press briefings where he has literally come short of naming the Socialist Party as a terror group. He's just come short of naming us as a terror group. And Bamusamba has made it very clear, not once, not twice, several times, Bamusamba, but he will never allow my opposition political parties to gather, to have meetings. We have written to him several times asking for permission, court and uncourt, permit to have public rallies. And the police have refused all our attempts. And that's a directive coming from the Inspector General of Police, that he will not allow opposition political parties to have rallies. In a country like ours, where we are a democracy, how do we live in a democracy where the police infringe on the fundamental inalienable rights of individuals constitutionally given to us to have the freedom to assemble, that has been taken away unilaterally by the Zambia police under the leadership of the IG Bamusamba? So Wamusamba said, we will never be allowed to talk. You have seen that even government itself, my very good brother Muzanga Tawakawana, has issued several statements threatening the media that they will close you if you host certain people, if you allow certain people to come on radio, if you allow certain views on radio. We have a situation right now as we are speaking, Bakasao.
I'm trying to recall when he made those statements.
Oh, yeah, it's just that my phone is not here. I would have played back.
So you have it on record.
If Gabriel is listening to this, please, Gabriel, ngatumvera Gabriel, sakira video ya Bururu wanga Taokawana, pamene zochita threaten ma media houses with closure. Gabriel ngatumvera, chita Google fast. Minister of Information and PS is on record of threatening media houses with closure. Okay? We are living in a situation, for instance, where UPND leaders and UPND cadres are having press briefings. All of us have watched these videos on social media. They are having press briefings where they are threatening to sort out individuals. The police have not moved in to arrest them. They are having press briefings where they are insulting individuals. The police have not moved in to sort out the UPND cadres. We have the Minister of Infrastructure, Charles Milupi. When we had the Kuomboka ceremony in Western Province, he gave an instruction to the UPND youths to sort out anybody that does not agree with President Hakainde, Sami Hijilema. And the police have not moved in. We see the police being so quick to arrest members of the opposition who respond to these cadres that will defend ourselves. The police moves in and arrests them. Right now, we have a situation. We have our member of parliament for Petauke Central, an independent member of parliament who was abducted. He is not the first person who has been abducted. I've just told the people through you here that last elections, the by-elections we had, 3 of our candidates in Kabompo and in Gwembe were abducted by the UPND. We also have yes, we have proof, and we have reported to the police. It's the police who are failing to do their job. For us, we have reported to the police. We had the Pamela Chisupa and the other 12 girls that were abducted. Then we have the Socialist Party candidates who've been abducted. Then now we have a member of parliament who was abducted. So this has become a pattern. So you can't have individuals holding press briefings, insulting people, and threatening to sort out people, even going as far as saying, "Ba president tulelomba mutupereko amaka. Mutupereko fya amaka, tuye kulusaka tubachite sort out aba bantu." And the president is quiet. It is amazing that the president is quiet while his cadres are asking him to give them the mandate to come and beat people in Lusaka, to come and maim people in Lusaka. The President Hakainde Sami Hichilema, is quiet. But we wouldn't be surprised because the president niyo anayamba. Kukambati, twalatampa kuchashani, kumikama pa mkoshi. Nalatampa imingalato. The president watampirefyo.
Maybe he
so
physically.
We are not surprised when the president says in kalami kama pa mkoshi. We are not surprised that his cadres now have taken it upon themselves that they'll be sorting out people. Yeah. The police is quiet ba angel. Bakapukola balizi. Makadras wachita threaten bantu. Makadras watukwa na bantu. Bakapukola balizi. Ba president balizi. Then there's a crisis, we have a problem. So for us as Socialist Party, we want to put on record that we challenge His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zambia, Mr. Hakainde Sami Hichilema, to act on the threats of violence that are coming from his cadres, to act on the violence that is coming from his cadres, to act on the incompetence, the failure and docility and complicity from the police. You can't have a country like ours, which has been democratic for years. Now we have to be asking for permission from Wamusamba.
So you're calling the police incompetent?
They're incompetent, they're unprofessional. They're incompetent, unprofessional, and complicity in the crimes that are being committed. And the police as a body, they are excellent police officers there. I'm not calling the police as a body. We are not calling the police as a corporate body as incompetent. No.
So who's incompetent?
But the Inspector General of Police, Mamusamba, is acting in a very unprofessional manner. Mamusamba is taking away the rights of individuals to hold meetings, to hold rallies, to freely assemble. Mamusamba is allowing the UPND cadres to be threatening people.
Yeah, talking about,
and he is not moving in. I think Mamusamba is not helping the situation.
To assemble. This now brings me back to the earlier question that I asked you, seeing that we are really running out of time. I would like to bring in the question of the alliance. What does the Socialist Party think about these alliances that, different political parties are getting into? And also, just to get it from you, if the Socialists are contemplating or ever thinking going forward, if they could probably maybe join forces with the United Kwacha Alliance and be part of that.
Our position on alliances is that we as Socialist Party have continued to mix with people of like-minded. We continue to work and operate, work and cooperate with progressive minds. So we've got alliances with various people, various professionals, various bodies. For instance, we've continued to work with all political parties that have got progressive minds. This is why you see that whenever anybody is arrested from the opposition political parties, Socialist Party will always be there. As I'm speaking to you, I was seeing Honorable Nawakwi at Charleston Police, where she's detained. From this station, I'll be going to see Honorable Mabonga, who has been arrested and she's detained. We will also go and see Honorable Munia Zulu. We will also go and see Comrade JJ, who's in hospital. We will also go and see Babrebna Changala. So as far as progressive ideas, whenever one of us is unjustifiably arrested, detained, whipped, or any wrong thing happening to them, we as Socialist Party, it is part of our philosophy, it is part of our primary values, solidarity. So we'll continue to cooperate and work with all progressive voices. Whether we are going to join UKA or not is a preserve of the National Congress. So the National Congress of the Socialist Party will sit, and this question, whether to join or not to join UKA, will be presented. And the National Congress is the only body under our Constitution which has the mandate to make that decision. Yes, so the National Congress will decide whether we are going to have to join the alliance or not. It is a preserve of the National Congress. Individually, not even the president has the mandate to make that decision. Nobody has the mandate to make that decision. Only the National Congress will make that decision. So when the National Congress meets, we will decide. Are we going to continue working with opposition political parties? Yes, we'll continue working with the church. We will continue working with the media. We'll continue working with the political parties. We'll continue working with all progressive Zambian people. Ours is solidarity to make Zambia a better place for all.
Okay, in case you are just tuning in, you are listening to Wednesday's edition of ChatBack right here on Radio Christian Voice, and my guest this morning is Socialist Party Deputy Secretary General, Mr. Antonio Mwanza. He's with us in studio, and remember, for your contributions, you can come through on RCV News, post your contribution, your question there, and we'll have our guest respond to your concern or question. There's one critic really that has come from a lot of members of society, and this is a critic of all politicians. They're saying, look, politicians are not doing justice to us, the Zambian people. We feel politicians are putting politics kusogolo rather than, bringing good solutions that are going to maybe work for the good of the Zambians. They've talked about how there's high milling prices, the fuel prices. We now do have a drought, and we're seeing the effects of the drought. But there's so much politicking such that even the alleged abduction of Petauke Central Member of Parliament, Honorable Emmanuel J. Banda, was so much politicized. And we saw a lot of opposition political parties immediately point fingers at the UPND that they're responsible for his alleged abduction. Now, the UPND has responded to say, look, if you are saying that, just prove it to the police. Go to the police, give them information that we are the ones behind this particular alleged abduction. But there's been so much around this issue, and I would just like to bring maybe your thoughts on what transpired, on why you, the opposition, immediately started to point fingers at the UPND that they're behind the alleged abduction of the Petaoke Member of Parliament.
You know, Zambians have seen what we have not seen before in this country. Iliashama abductions is a new phenomenon. It's happening under the UPND. Honorable J.J. Banda must be the 15th or 17th victim of abduction. A lot of people have been abducted. Abakashana Bariabena Pamela Chisupa were abducted. Our candidates in Rwangwa, Kabompo, Gwembe were abducted. Numbana tukwata abduction yaba Honorable J.J. Banda. The issue has been that threats from the UPND on J.J. Banda were issued in Southern Province. There was a press briefing. And again, this is why I'm saying the unprofessional conduct of Musamba by IG. The UPND leadership in Southern Province had a press briefing where they singled out JJ, that they will sort him out. And we saw a number of other UPND leaders on radio coming to radio stations and say they will start sorting out anyone who criticizes our President Hakainde, Sami Hichilema. And the police, like I've said, were quiet. So the Zambian people are not far from the truth when they suspect that I'm abduction never UPND. Because they're the ones who are threatening people that they'll sort out people. And when they tell you that they'll sort you out and you have been abducted, the first suspect, Azankala Ujana chita issue my threats. So, as long as by UPND, they continue to threaten people, that they'll sort out people. Muli onsamina za soba, vantu bazakamba kuti ndani, ni wa UPND. Vantu bakamba kuti pamunzi, pakafwankote. Vantu bazakonga wamene azachosa imvwi, ndi bazakamba kuti ni uyu. So people of Zambia are not far from the truth by suspecting by UPND that they are behind this. Now, politicization of all this issue. First of all, Vijay Banda is a politician, so expect that there will be a lot of politics. He's a politician. Regardless. Yeah, regardless, he's a politician. So there will be a lot of politics when such an unfortunate issue happens. But also, it is the manner in which the government conducted itself. First of all, you have a member of parliament who goes missing. And the president of the Republic of Zambia, His Excellency, Hakainde Sami Hichilema, is quiet. A member of parliament has been abducted. He has gone missing. And the president of the country is quiet. The speaker of the National Assembly,
have loved him to say something
the speaker of the National Assembly is quiet. The leader of government business in the house, Bamaiwanga, Banalumango, is quiet. Then the minister in charge of security comes almost after 48 hours to come and talk to the nation about the abduction. And he uses that press briefing not to tell the Zambian people what the security wings are doing to make sure that the member of parliament is found. Instead, he comes to use that platform to issue threats against those that are complaining about the disappearance of a member of parliament. The fact that the entire government went mute when a member of parliament goes missing, it raises a lot of suspicion.
So that's why
and it takes away the credibility from the state. The president should have said something. The speaker of the house should have said something. The minister in charge of security should have come the very hour after he got briefed by the police that a member of parliament has gone missing. Government did not handle itself properly. What happens when JJ is found? The police takes over. And they stop members of his family from seeing him. They stop leaders of political parties from seeing him. That again doesn't augur well with the Zambian people. So the handling of the whole JJ issue has left a bitter piece a bitter taste in the mouths of Zambian people. And for us as Socialist Party, we want to thank the masses. Zambians stood up and they said, no, muleteni JJ. Zambians on social media were fighting for the release of JJ. Zambians were praying for the release of JJ. And we want to thank the Zambians. That's the spirit that we need to have, solidarity. That's what we stand for, solidarity. When we have a crisis like this, we need all Zambians to be on their feet, demanding for justice. We need all Zambians to be on their knees, demanding for sovereign interference.
Yeah, but maybe the question is
intervention.
Is before maybe the politicians started to point fingers. Why didn't they drive the narrative of, regardless of maybe the political standing, let's first find him, rather than first say no, it's you, let's find him.
I like what you're asking.
Why didn't we first start with let's find him?
So
rather than bringing in he belongs
so
to
you
this,
know vuto ameneripo. And I like what you said, ta I moment ina yafaka politics pasogoro instead ya chitukuko. When JJ Banda went missing, the first thing that happened is that the UPND media platforms, all their social media platforms, started narratives that he has been abducted by the opposition themselves. They were pointing out to Uka, they were pointing out to President Lungu, and it is them that started that narrative. It is the UPND media platforms that politicized the whole issue. And because there was no leadership from the president, for instance, to issue a stance of government on the matter, because there was no leadership from the ministry to issue a stance on the issue that was going on, there was no leadership from parliament, it created a vacuum. What we want to see is that people that have been threatening violence must be arrested, and that's our demand, that they must be arrested. If you can arrest Munia Zulu, you can arrest Edith Nawakwi, you can arrest Brebina Changala, you can arrest Maureen Mawongo. Why are you failing to arrest the UPND leaders and the UPND members and UPND cadres who have also had press briefings intimidating people, insulting people, and threatening violence, threatening that they'll sort out these people? Why are the police failing to arrest by UPND, but they are quicker to arrest the opposition? There's a selective application of justice, selective application of the law, and this, as a party, we condemn very strongly.
I just wanted to bring your thoughts on that particular issue, and thank you so much. You've actually just made your point really clear there. But then we've also had the president that's been clear, and he's said this a lot, to say, look, every time you have these opposition political leaders, that you have a conversation with them on the radios, on TV, or just when you interact, you always ask them, what is their alternative? So I'll put you on the spotlight, and I'll start with the fuel prices. We've seen that the fuel prices are at their all-time high, and fuel is responsible for literally everything that we do. This is why we're seeing the high cost of commodities on the market. And I know we've got very limited time because we have to bring in the callers. But let's start from fuel. As a socialist, what is your alternative to these high fuel prices that we're experiencing as a nation?
First, allow me to say this thing, that we have a challenge in terms of leadership. Leadership yabaka inde sami chilema yavuta, because one usibamvera in advice. The Socialist Party has been giving a lot of solutions. Some of these things we've been writing them. Some of these things we've been communicating them through the media. We as Socialist Party have also asked the president, for instance, to convene an economic endeavor with various stakeholders, experts, and various voices to find the solutions to this issue. The president is not listening. Political parties, the Socialist Party inclusive, we have written to His Excellency the President Basami. We have written to him asking that, can we meet you, the President, as political leaders? And we discuss the issue of the economy.
What has been the response?
siwabweza na Nkalata, just even acknowledging that courtesy of acknowledging that Nkalata ano talandira siwabweza. So we have demanded
imafika Nkalata hiyo
imafika, we have demanded no imafika comrade nasenzako mu maboma mutinaona vanvi machitika Mankalata yafika kuli wa president. The president doesn't even have the courtesy to respond. We have asked the president that can we meet as political leaders, and we look at the issue of the economy. The president doesn't respond. We have provided a number of solutions to the president and his government. They don't want to listen. So mavuta metili nayo number one, the president anti now vakainde sami chile masibamvela advice ya mundu aliyense. Number two, Zambians are asking, the president mnalulemba ma graph, mnalulemba ma formula, mnali na 10-point plan, mnaluzunguka na calculator. Langayo ma solution ya mne mnali nayo wa president mu opposition yaenda kuti. Zambians are asking questions. The third tragedy we have about our president watu akaende Samia Chilema is that bakondamaningi ma politics instead yanga na pachitukuko cha bantu. Today if you ask the president, he started very well. He was having press briefings even though they were being exaggerated, 4 hours, 3 hours having press briefings. He started very well by having those press briefings. They were key. They were important to talk to the people. They were very important. But the president has stopped talking to the people, and he doesn't talk about the economy. If you check, the president doesn't talk about the economy. He talks about politics. Yeah, yesterday, I was surprised.
If it's the issues for the economy, because there's been defense to say, look, the economy, while we found it, is probably not what we're expecting. We found that the patriotic fund had damaged the economy beyond repair. And they actually even sent a statement to say the former ruling party shouldn't even be making statements on the economy. And said, look, including those people that also formed the government, shouldn't be making statements on the economy because they are the ones that damage the economy.
Let's talk about the economy a little bit. Yesterday, the president, vanakamba kuti musani vute, akainde Samia Chilema. Musani vute ni sinipanga mvula. Okay? So siningalete malaiti sinipanga mvula. But let's be real. What was the position of the president when there was load shedding in 2020, partly as a result of the drought? His response was that we have load shedding because of the foolishness, and these are the words, they're not my words, these are the words that he used, the foolishness of those in leadership. He refused to acknowledge that water was a contributing factor to the energy crisis. Why do we have load shedding today? It's because of poor leadership and poor management. The total amount of installed capacity for ZESCO is at 3,465 megawatts. The total demand for electricity in this country at peak hour is 2,300 megawatts. We have an installed capacity surplus of over 1,100 megawatts. Why are we having load shedding? It's not because of the water levels at Kariba. No, we are having load shedding because this government is exporting electricity to Namibia, to DRC, to Botswana, and now they want to start exporting to South Africa. We have been against exporting of electricity before satisfying the local demand. We believe ourselves that the first thing that government must do, let me just finish this.
Is it evident really that we had a drought? And
no, but Baguri is
Samalite. Only, yes, but also...
Baguri is Samalite. So why are Jamalite
power generation at Kariba? I was actually there over the weekend.
Why Baguri Samalite?
Yes, but also power generation. But also we cannot run away from the fact that power generation has reduced. Both at Kariba, Itejiteji, Lower and Upper
Kafue. Unga mnyumba wasira. Muzamba first kupikira nsima bana bama nebazi bana wakalibe kudia zakanga hizo. If this government cared about the Zambian people, and this is the problem with capitalism, it's about profits. This is the difference between capitalism and socialism, because socialism would have cared about the people of Zambia. We would have ensured that there's equity, justice. First, equity and justice ensures that the people of Zambia should have electricity. That's the first thing. The mandate of President Hakainde Samia Chilema was to provide solutions to the people of Zambia. It's not to provide excuses. The mandate that the president has is to make sure that Zambians have electricity. Why is President Hakainde Samia Chilema ensuring that Namibians have power, that Botswana people have power, that people in Congo have power, but the Zambian people don't have power? It simply means that the president doesn't care about the people of Zambia. If he cared about the people of Zambia, sebesiba gulisa malaiti ku Botswana, ku Namibia, ku South Africa, na ku DRC. Muno Zambia tilibe malaiti. So let's talk about the Kariba. So the water levels at Kariba have gone down.
And partly,
the water levels have gone down. I would
say that you're partly in government, because then your party was in government, and you know how these processes work. How easy is it to say, okay, fine, we have these deals, we are giving you power, but we have a situation and we're cancelling all of them. How easy is it to make
all these deals
decisions?
And that is a very important question. All these deals that government signs, they have a caveat. And that caveat includes when there's a crisis beyond our measure, a natural calamity, a natural crisis, El Nino, drought. Immediately you have those, you have the right as part of the contract to trigger where you can hoard, you can reduce the amount of power that you're exporting, like they have done already. They did that. They reduced with Botswana. It was 160. They have reduced to 120 megawatts as a result of the drought. Because there is always a clause in these contracts. These contracts are structured in such a way that there's a clause that allows a country that is exporting power to stop exporting, to suspend the exportation, or to reduce the amount of megawatts you're exporting in a time like this. So, yes, there's been that narrative that, no, we have running contracts. These contracts, we signed them, yes, but there are clauses in those contracts that allows government to stop exporting the power. So, our position is very simple. Stop exporting power until we have enough power to export. That's our position as a party. If this government cares about the Zambian people, if he really, President Hakainde Sami Chilema, cares about the Zambian people, he should stop giving power to Namibia, giving electricity to DRC, giving electricity to Botswana before our own people here have electricity.
Mr. Mwanza, we'll continue to tackle with alternatives. Let me quickly get our callers on the number 0956 200 We do have quite a number of people watching on Facebook. This one says, I'm with you, listening. Problem of politicians in Zambia. When they are in opposition, they seem to have the solutions to the problems we're passing through. Once they get into government, things changes. Anyway, your ideology is sounding very good. I'm Weavered Sangwapo, Peter here in Solwezi. Thank you so much. Fletcher says, articulating issues very well. Comrade Antonio Mwanza. Ras says, Muya says, Radio Christian Voice, the Socialist Party has won elections in this ward. These are the SP councillors. Okay, it's given me some of the SP councillors.
Yeah, we do have councillors, yes.
Yes, and then he comes on to say, is the interviewer a UPND spokesperson? All right, Muya. OJ Kanike says, can the Socialist Party work with the capitalists? Please explain. Okay, this is OJ in Indola. Thank you so much, OJ. Let's get to the cause. Good morning. You are through to the program.
Good morning, Angel.
Yes, your name and where you calling us from?
Wino Washimala ni Mlishani.
Abantu balechula kuno Bantonyo Mwanza. Kuli ubuchushi kuno Copper Belt, ubuchushi bukulu. Ichwe nini takwe batu yenani wa UPND bonds. Wale ilishani kwa cha president mtekele yabo ili arubana. Umuna Zambia wonse fiyali ilishani. Mure muno mtengo wa bunga. Usho muntu ngale kumpa Saudi. Ala kwa nisho kusto bunga. Muntu lepope mpoto. Ala kwa nisho kusto bunga. Takwa nje. Government ya New Dawn buteko bushakwa torusi. Echo ndelo mbaya kwebati umuna Zambia wonse afuile aitukaminso. Alolesha busheko to afume fukwali mishani. Eko tulea ni kushani. Mamone. Bantu buteko bunga chakwebati buteko kusakamana abantu ebuteko amasabusting bali bikako nombanga chakweba timu mwalando kweba weekend koma sabusting balikana achawe no no la findalama kwa na ulendalama abantu olechula government ya New Dawn ifile yaya ba SP poseni kwa manu kwangu avena Zambia mkwati wa mutima unga umo ba opposition ngatwale ko buteko bwa New Dawn bwasa pita tukambukuli abana beso so tufile kuposa kwa manu bonse ba PF ba SP ikatani mkwati wa mutima unga umo bantu ngatwale ka fefini mwandini abantu bakava kunsala
All right.
Please, Antonio Mwanza.
Thank you so much for your contribution. All right. Let's get more calls on the number 0956 200 490. 0956 200 490. Don't also squeeze in text messages even as the calls are coming. This one says, okay, sorry, let me just get the other one. This one says, Bro Angel and Honorable Mwanza, good morning, Mr. Mwanza. What we are seeing now is the germination of the seeds you planted with the PF. With due respect, your powerful voice has no bearings because you are doing politics of the belly. Your leaders should admit that you did wrong, then begin to plant seeds that will prosper this nation. Joe from Kitwe. Thank you so much, Joe, for that text message. Good morning. You are through to the program. Okay, we've lost that caller. Let me bring in another one. Good morning. You are through to the program.
Hello.
Your name and where you're calling us from?
I'm fine, sir. How are you?
Your name again?
I'm saying this is Chungu calling you.
Bachungu.
Yes, go ahead with the contribution.
Yeah. Mr. Mwanza, good morning.
Good morning, Bachungu. Maukabanji.
No, that's great.
Thank you.
Mr. Mwanza, you are looking very well. And if a person help people in government with your mind, I think this country can move forward. We have seen a lot of political witch-hunts which is happening in our country. We have forgotten so soon to say they promised the good people of Zambia that food will be provided on their table. They promised the good people of Zambia to say they are going to lower the price of living their 50%. Now, today, what is happening? What we are seeing, these people are just hunting whatever they are thinking is a threat to them. Now, should everybody remain quiet, Mr. Mwanza, our country will perish. Please, we know you are going to receive a lot of intimidation as the political parties or opposition. But if you decide to go rich, like the other politicians we have seen they have gone rich, and yet things are bad in our country. The only people who can protect the good democracy of this country is few people who are saying that voice. You are speaking to the voiceless. Never should you be bought, Mr. Mwanza. Never should you be intimidated. As Zambians, we are the great opposition. Unlike the what we are facing, we don't think we are the opposition, but the greatest opposition, which removes people in those offices. These are us, the ordinary Zambians. Please, can you continue believing them to say, can they just do the right thing? There are people. The good people of Zambia are suffering today. We are worrying about that. From morning where we have power rental and 03, up to date power is not yet restored. And we are expecting our economy recover. This is so sad. Please, Mr. Mwanza, tell the nation how best we are going to rule this country when we go to our 26 is nearby.
All right.
Mr. Mwanza, I thank you.
Thank you so much for your contribution, Mr. Chungu. Good morning. You are through to the program. Hello, good morning. Yes, your name and where are you calling us from?
This is Nalishua calling from Mwanza.
Your name again?
Nalishua calling you from Mwanza.
Nalishua.
Yes.
But your line is a little bit bad. Are you able to call us back? I can't. No, I think his line is quite bad. Try and call us back. Good morning. You are through to the program.
Yes, good morning. How are you?
Very well. Your name and where are you calling us from?
I'm calling from Province, Mwanza district, Mr. Hinda Baberega.
Yes, go ahead with your contribution.
Ine chame ninga muze ni chate ni chakuti. Mr. Hinda Baberega panel. Yeah. Chame ninga kambe ni chakuti. Are you together?
Yes, we were able to get you.
Mkane ya matani mapa election amena riko mkantri ya Zambia, you know. I think with the party ameninga chite challenge UPND. Ma situ onsaya tuzachita bwanji tuzatenga because panva president ni pamushe tuona kuti wose vindu viliche mushe aba bamene batandaula kani ya unga ilipe na problem so unga wose vindu viliche mushe vasakontrolola vaechechi. So vantu vasiwo dandaura vantu ndiye amene vasankha ndiye amene vafuna munthu amene vafuna kuti achite bwanji amene angateke on development. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much. Great to know that Southern Province is locked in. Let's get the last two callers. I actually saw an interesting message. This one says, this is coming through from Mulea. Chimuka says, Dr. Mwanza, please comment on the support that the Socialist Party is giving to students. I know you have 20 doctors graduating next year. I think this one we can also add it as part of your concluding remarks. We do have quite a number of voice notes, but they're too long. So let me first pick up this call and then get to them. Good morning. You are through to the program. Hello, good morning.
Yes, boss. Yes, morning. Good morning, sir. This is Michael Narishwa calling from Livala.
Yes, Mr. Michael, you can go ahead with the contribution.
Thank you. Good morning, Comrade Mwanza.
Good morning, Comrade. How are you, sir?
I'm fine. My submission this morning, Comrade Antonio Mwanza, Deputy for Socialist Party. I think he was speaking I've been trying to follow you even when you are studying at the Lusaka radio. One thing I would agree with you, Antonio Mwanza, is on the issue of CDF, these loans and the grants. There, I can agree with you, Antonio Mwanza, in part, whereby people will be given those grants. Some, instead of them to do something productive, so that at least it can stand the test of time, but they end up sharing, and this has been a challenge, I think, across the maybe other constituencies. But we don't know how this thing can be, how people can be helped, because we need the change of mindset. So at least if people are given that money, let them do something productive so that tomorrow they are able to say, we are given this money and it empowers us. And even if these are our councillors, they are able to say, at least my point is my community. We are empowered. But today, there are few individuals who we can point to say, they benefited from this what? There are few we can even point about. Most of them, they will get and they will share. It's not helping the country. How do we develop in such manner? But the other thing I would say, as I conclude, is that Mr. Mwanza, you are doing very well under PF, the media director at PF. But alas, you moved your own choice party, but at the end of the day, you are free, free person to join any political party. Thank you so much for listening.
All right, thank you so much. Let's get our last caller. Good morning. You are through to the program.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, your name and where are you calling us from?
Sama Alan from Zingalume.
Yes, Mr. Alan.
One Mourinho.
One Chama.
Chama them. Ba Mourinho, mulera ndire talo. Ilo mulera ndire talo kose nipo. But in my concern ba Mourinho ni, why is it that hate speech ya bakuri ba opposition? Wale mfaba minister wala balera ndakuno sugu Western Province wale extract kumulumendo ati wose critic wakwa hate menya wena ushaida te hate speech and propagating violence. And where are the police? Did the police see this video or not? Or that they have just ignored? Tabanga mkatikanganda aba nanga tabale umfwana umufyashu file waima walante webereto ndefwaya ikale ni panshi mule ikatishanya. Don't you realize Mourinho Mwanza kwebati police and the president, they are the ones who are breaking up this country apart. Pantu efe wale upwa no kumona tabale landa abantu nga balanda ero bayima nomba bayamba okulanda. Don't you think that is hypocrisy of the highest order?
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for your contribution. Great to know that you are listening. Mr. Mwanza, I'll give you a chance to respond to this bit in 6 minutes because we've run out of time.
Sorry. Yeah. Okay, I'll try to be brief. First of all, ndefo ya kutotera ba chama banarishewo bashimalani chinda habeleka kumonze bamule chimuka na bachungu na totela sana. I think the issue of hate speech, people are having a problem with it because it seems only those that speak against a certain region are the ones who are facing hate speech. But others who speak against other regions, they go scot-free. I'll give you a practical example. The General Secretary, the UPND, the Secretary General, the UPND, the Batuke Imenda, code the Alik Banda, at Lucifer, Shetani, and Comrade Sean Tembo took the matter on. He reported him to the police. He went to court. First of all, the police didn't do anything. Sean Tembo aire ku koti, the DPP, Director of Public Prosecutions, vamkanya okumpera insambu to privately prosecute the matter. In short, Batuka Imenda, vaitana va Alik Banda va Bishop, kuti ndiye satana mdirekeze. But nothing happens. We have a case of Honorable Douglas Yakalima, the Minister of Education. He said Bembas are suffering from poverty of the mind. That is a very bad statement. Putting a blanket that bonsa ababemba bakasabo bonse mwe mwali kwata ubulwele wakumano tamtontonkanya wino ababemba. That's a very bad statement in very bad taste. There was nothing that happened. The police didn't move in. I'm happy that this matter has been taken to court by Sean Tembo, and I think we need to applaud Comrade Sean Tembo. And we hope and pray that this matter will be dealt with the seriousness it deserves and that justice shall prevail. So, if you are landaba bachama ti hate speech lemoneka fye kwati nga walumbula region imo nichini hate speech. But in region kuti batuka ukutuka balungu, the words that I can't use here on radio have been said. But that is okay, it's not hate speech. So I think there is again the selective application of the law. And this we condemn very, very strongly. Bachimuka, thank you so much, Dr. Mulea Chimuka. By Socialist Party, we have a number of programs. I think we could be the only party that is running all these training programs. We train our people, our young people, our youths, our women in different fields. We train them in ideology. We train them in entrepreneurship. You know that our people are producing soap, bathing soap, washing soap. Our people, the Socialist Party, our own people are producing those because we run these projects that train our women and youths into entrepreneurship. Socialist Party, just I think 2 days ago, I was in Kabanana, where I was officially launching the mobile clinic on behalf of President Dr. Freddie Membe and the Socialist Party. We do mobile health services as a party. We run mobile clinics. Balapitamo compound providing health education, providing toothbrushes, Colgate, providing toothpaste, providing toothbrushes, doing my BP, doing my sugar, providing different services. Kubantu. We have mobile hospitals that are moving on, sponsored by the Socialist Party. The Socialist Party, we are running education programs. And like he said, 14 medical doctors are going to be graduating this year, sponsored by the Socialist Party. They are not the only ones. We sponsor hundreds of students in colleges and universities. We run agroecology, where we are teaching our people safe ways of production, safe ways of agricultural production to increase productivity. So we are running health programs, educational programs. We are running entrepreneurship programs. And I think we must be the only party that is doing these programs. All of them sponsored by benefit? Yeah, so like primarily, so these programs are for every Zambian. As long as you're Zambian, we don't segregate whether you're socialist or you're not. Our mobile clinics are open to all Zambians. Our agroecology programs are open to all Zambians. Our health programs, our educational programs are open to all Zambians. We're just targeting the vulnerable Zambians and we're helping them as a party. Okay. So thank you so much for reminding me that. But Michael Nalishu, you are right. ECDF na samkafyati bale akana. Not quite after 2 minutes, so I'll not be able to respond to the many comments that we have raised. But in conclusion, because we have got only 1 minute and 46 seconds. In conclusion, I want to say this. There is no hope for Zambia under the leadership of President Hakainde Sami Hichilema and the UPND. Cost of living will continue going up. Load shedding will continue increasing. The cost of fuel will continue going up. The cost of doing business will continue going up. Violence, tribalism, regionalism will continue to increase. The inefficiencies, incompetence, and complicity of the police under the UPND will continue to be on the rise. Zambians have no choice but to make sure that in 2026 they need to elect a government that will put people first to ensure justice, equity, and peace, and to ensure that we have got control and ownership of our own resources. And this is what Socialist Party stands for. Can you imagine that Zambia has a banking and financial portfolio of about $12 billion US. Meanwhile, we only have got 2% control of that money. Even Impia Shash CDF, 14.4 billion kwacha was banked in foreign banks, and now foreign banks are the ones making profits. Are we telling Zambians, are we telling ourselves that 60 years after independence, ama Zambians kuti tuafirwa ukwata banki, ama Zambians tuafirwa ukurani ama mines?
As we conclude, there's a very interesting, I think this is very important. This one says, good morning, I'm starting to dislike politicians because they are the only ones who set the agenda of tribalism. Us Zambians, we love each other, and let the politicians continue with their tribal sentiments. One Zambia, one nation.
There's no one who should be allowed to continue with tribal sentiments. That for us, we condemn 100%, whether it is coming from a politician or it's coming from a non-politician. In fact, by politician, tribalism, just move away from those politicians and look for people who are providing solutions. This government is not providing solutions. President Hakainde Sami Hichilema has no solution for anything. And I can challenge the president. We can sit here and have a one-to-one discussion on the economy. The president has no solution for this economy. He has surrendered the economy in the hands of the IMF and the World Bank. They are increasing our monetary policy rate. They are increasing our statutory reserve ratio. They are increasing our inflation. They are increasing austerity. They are reducing government spending on critical issues such as health, education, these things that matter to the Zambian people. So muri bakainde tamwa ama solution, mwali bafye ama promises. Solution takuri.
Mr. Mwanza, thank you so much for coming through to today's edition of ChatBack.
Thank you so much, Angel, and I hope you will not be intimidated by government to say why much kwata Mourinho pa programu tulefa ya kuyofia IBA to take away the license. There's nothing that we have said here that amounts to insults or anything. We've been talking about issues affecting the Zambian people, and I pray in the name of Jesus that you will not be intimidated after I leave this station.
No.
And I pray that I will not be abducted after I leave this station.
No, you're not going to be abducted, Mr. Mwanza. I thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, this is where we have to end. Thank you so much to everybody that called, our Facebook viewers, and also everybody that texted. Thank you so much.
ChatBack on RCV News.